Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Raw results. WB main event from the March 5th. Happy birthdays goes to from March the 1st, General Adnan. He was born 1939. Mike Tenay, 1955. Booker T, 1965. Scotty Riggs, 1971. Big E, Langston, 1986. Emma, 1989, and rounding off March 1st, Kyle O'Reilly. He was born in 1987. That's the year I graduated high school. March the 2nd birthday, Deborah, Lance Cade. When Deborah was born in 1960, Lance Cade, 1981. March the 3rd birthday, Justin Gabriel, who was Mr. Black in GFW. He was born in 1981. March 4th birthday, Sarita. She was born in 1979. March 4th also, Dalton Kessel. He was born in 1986. March the 5th was 5 years ago when legendary WWE manager Paul Bearer, real name William Moody, passed away at the age of 58 due to a heart attack. He also had other persona of Percy Pringle in World Class Championship Wrestling. Bearer died in Mobile, Alabama, and his death certificate lists the cause of the heart attack as a supraventricular tachycardia, or SVT, a dangerously high heart rate. WWE used Paul Bearer's death to drive The Undertaker versus CM Punk storyline heading into WrestleMania 29. The following week's episode of Raw was held as a tribute to Bearer. The Undertaker paid respect to his longtime manager, but was interrupted by Punk. Punk then mocked Bearer over the next few weeks against both Undertaker and Kane, including stealing his urn and attacking Kane with it. On the April 1st episode of Raw, Paul Heyman dressed up as Paul Bearer, and Punk poured the ashes of the urn onto the Undertaker after attacking him. At WrestleMania 29, Undertaker beat Punk and took back the urn, dedicating his victory to Paul Bearer. The following year, Bearer was posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame by his two real-life sons. Davey Moore Smith Jr., who was formerly known as David Hart Smith in WWE, was unable to wrestle at an indie event in Canada over the weekend after being diagnosed with pneumonia in his left lung. At DB Smith Jr., you follow him on Twitter, at ASW Canada. I am terribly sorry to announce to the ASW fans of Cloverdale, British Columbia, but I won't be able to perform this weekend. I have been diagnosed with pneumonia in my left lung, and well, I'm in a bad way. This really hurts a lot. I will be back at ASW in the future. New Raw superstar Ronda Rousey was training in secrecy at WWE Performance Center in Orlando last week. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, ESPN's Ramona Shelburne previously reported that Rousey would train late at night at the PC before making her WWE appearance at the Royal Rumble, and that very few people were aware of. Also noted, Rousey was also at the WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut this past week for business meetings. The Observer reports that Rousey's training team has been WWE coaches Norman Smiley and Sarah Amato, WWE NXT superstar Shayna Baszler, MMA Horsewoman member Jasmine Duke, who is back to training for pro wrestling again, plus Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler from NXT. Rousey's husband, former UFC fighter Travis Brown, was also training in the ring, as he has done over the past few months. There have been mixed reports on whether or not Brown will be wrestling. It's believed that Rousey's first match for WWE will come at WrestleMania 34 in April. Rousey will be teaming with a partner to face Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, continuing the feud from WrestleMania 31 that progressed at Elimination Chamber and Raw this past week. It looks like WWE has decided on Raw General Manager Kurt Angle to team with Rousey, making it the Olympic Champions versus the Authority. Thanks to that news from Wrestling Observer newsletter. Walter is a 30-year-old, 6 foot, 310-pound wrestler from Austria. You can see him wrestle some of his talent, wrestling moves at this link there. And if I can find this picture, I'll post it for you there. Lee is believed to be between 32 and 33 years old. They stand 6'3", 332 pounds. They are considered to be two of the best big men on the indies right now. Okay, the Big Daddy Walter is his name, and his top 5 moves at that link for you. There's a feeling that Lee is taking the deal as he's turned down bookings after that date. According to the Observer, Lee is currently signed to a deal with WBN Live, but Gabe Sapolsky would likely approve to the jump to WWE as he has done in the past. Walter has reportedly told the Observer in the past that he wasn't interested in WWE because he has employee status with WXW promotion in Germany, runs their wrestling academy, and wasn't interested in moving to the United States as he was enjoying his life there. Walter took to Twitter this week and denied the report on WWE offering him a deal, as he wrote, at Walter AUT, nobody offered anything. Not true. Go to that link for you. Keith Lee video of his 30 top moves can be found at this link. And that's who the guy I was talking about just briefly, who's 32 or 33 years old. Rey Mysterio is scheduled to be examined for what was believed to be a torn left bicep, according to Dave Meltzer of F4W Online. As reported over the weekend, Mysterio sustained the injury during a tag team match on Friday night in Waterbury, Connecticut for Northeast Wrestling. So, with that news, he is not signing with WWE prior to WrestleMania, at least. Former WWE star Candice Michelle was backstage at Saturday's Lucha Underground TV tapings in Los Angeles, California. According to an Instagram post by Candice, she was invited to the show by former WWE peers Chavo Guerrero and Marty Elias. And you can go to that link for that and see proof of that she was actually there. WWE announced the following today on taking home 4 awards at the Cable Fox Digital and Tech Awards this year. WWE wins 4 prestigious Cable Fox Digital Tech Awards. Also winner of 4 2018 Cable Fox Digital and Tech Awards, Best Social Campaign Programmer, honoring WWE's social media commitment to Connor's Cure, Social Media Campaign Programmer for WrestleMania 33, Overall Social Presence, and Overall Website, official show website for WWE.com. Connor's Cure raises pediatric cancer awareness in memory of Connor the Crusher Michalak, leveraging WWE social media outreach across major platforms including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Of more than 850 million followers worldwide, Connor's Cure has raised nearly $1 million and assisted more than 100 families around the world. WWE social media also won the award for overall social presence, beating NBA on TNT. WWE social strategy for WrestleMania 33 took top honors in the social media campaign programming category, beating Discovery's Shark Week and HGTV's Fixer Upper. WWE.com bested Crown Media's Family Networks, Countdown to Christmas Online, and ABS CNS Global Studios, discovering routes in the overall website, official show website category. 2018 Cable Fox Digital and Tech Awards honoring the outstanding websites, digital initiatives, and people in the digital and technology industry that are driving the digital media revolution. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins versus Intercontinental Champion The Miz is now confirmed for WrestleMania 34. Balor tweeted the following after the match was announced. At Finn Balor, Finn is going to hashtag WrestleMania. Or should I say, hashtag Balormania. The next step in the Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy feud looks to be the Ultimate Deletion, a match to be held at the Hardy compound in North Carolina. The WWE aired footage, which was filmed last Tuesday, of Hardy at the compound on last night's Raw. It looks to be similar to the compound matches they did in TNA. It's believed that the match may air during WrestleMania 34, but PW Insider reports that the match could likely be placed on Raw in New Orleans, not as a part of WrestleMania. On a related note, there has been a lot of speculation on Hardy and Wyatt possibly teaming up to challenge Raw Tag Team Champions The Bar at WrestleMania 34. As noted, word going around Raw was that Cesaro and Sheamus are expected to be challenged by two superstars that are not a tag team yet. After much speculation, it looks like the Ultimate Deletion between Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy will happen at the Hardy compound in North Carolina, perhaps to air at WrestleMania 34. This week's Raw saw Hardy invite Wyatt to the compound, and you can see that in this link here. Impact Wrestling star Alberto El Patron, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio, was at WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut last week. According to PW Insider, Patron was there to film interview material for a future project on Rey Mysterio, but he also met with Vince McMahon while he was there. There's been talk within WWE of Vince being very interested in Patron returning to the company even before last week's visit. Vince has always been high on Alberto as a character and a performer. Alberto, a former WWE champion, last worked for WWE in 2016 in September. His current deal with Impact is set to expire in April, but company officials have been working to negotiate a new deal. There's hope that Alberto, who likely would be the highest paid talent in Impact, will sign a new contract after weekend talks with Impact officials were said to be positive. Patron is scheduled to face Impact World Champion Austin Aries at the April 22nd Redemption pay-per-view. Montez Ford suffered some sort of mouth injury at last Friday's NXT live event in Cleveland, where he teamed with Angelo Dawkins in a losing effort to NXT Tag Team Champions Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Ford didn't wrestle at the rest of the NXT weekend shows, although he did appear in Dawkins' corner for matches against Cesar Bonini and Velveteen Dream on Saturday and Sunday, respectively. In an update, it appears that Ford suffered the injury after a heel kick to the mouth from Fish, which reportedly caused a tooth to get knocked out. One reader said that it appeared as if Ford was supposed to duck under the kick. Ford worked the rest of the match, but was bleeding from the mouth and appeared to be upset after it was over. Marvel announced last week that they have moved the release date for Avengers Infinity War up a week from May 4th to April 27th. This prompted the release date for Rock's Rampage to get bumped up a week also from April 20th to April 13th. The Rock also commented on the change on Instagram, noting that the new date pretty much guarantees that I'll be home for the birth of my baby daughter. As seen in this link for you, there's Instagram. Renee Young noted on Twitter that she missed last week's the Raw show because she's sick. She'll also be off SmackDown. Renee noted that she will be back for Sunday's Fastlane pay-per-view and everything after that. Charlie Caruso worked Raw by herself last night, and Dasha Pentes will also likely handle SmackDown tomorrow night. The 2018 Razzie Awards, which are given out to the year's worst films, saw the induction of a new category, the Razzie nominee, So Rotten You Loved It. That award went to Baywatch, beating out Emoji Movie, 50 Shades Darker, The Mummy, and Transformers. the last night. And here's a video of The Rock happily accepting the award by Instagram. WWE continues to hold back TV tapings in the same city as Raw, and SmackDown will tape from Montreal, Quebec, Canada on April 30th and May 1st at Center Bell. Tickets go on sale March 9th at noon. Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Seth Rollins versus Raw Tag Team Champions The Bar and Intercontinental Champion The Miz. It is advertised for Monday, while Tuesday's advertised dark main event is Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens versus champion AJ Styles in a fatal four-way. There's your possible spoilers for the WrestleMania. I mean, AJ is going to retain. But my guess, probably Nakamura wins at WrestleMania. I'm going to go with my prediction also. Asuka wins the title at Mania. Could they possibly both be on the same show? SmackDown as the Asuka wins. That's a SmackDown championship. So does she go there? Both Japanese possible champions. Hall of Famer Jim Ross underwent the first two surgeries to be held this month on Monday. Ross noted that the surgery was a success, but he still could not see out of his right eye as of Monday night. Jr. also noted that he hopes to announce the new home of his podcast this week. He tweeted following on the surgery and the podcast, which can be found on this link. Jonathan Coachman took to Twitter to respond to being one of several current and former ESPN employees named in a sexual discrimination and harassment lawsuit filed against the company on Sunday by former ESPN anchor and legal analyst Adrian Lawrence. Coachman denied the allegation in writing. I will address this only once because I am seething today. In 21 years of being professional, I have never been more offended in my life. In my 9 years, I can count on one hand the amount of times I interacted with anyone other than a co-anchor. To allow someone to spread vicious lies, flat-out fabrications is not okay. And a time someone stood up for themselves. At Jameel Hill addressed her lie last night. I am not part of this lawsuit because I have never done anything wrong. My reputation speaks for itself, and anyone that has ever worked with me will back that up. I am also offended that someone can dangerously throw people's names into something for the clear attempt at getting headlines. This is the only time I will address this because I am not part of this lawsuit. My heart goes out to anyone falsely accused of anything. Trust me if it doesn't feel good, but most of you have been incredible and supportive. Onward and upward. Lawrence filed a lawsuit against ESPN for incidents dating back to 2015. As Daniel reported earlier, she is accusing ESPN of not addressing her complaints, specifically against longtime SportsCenter anchor John Buckygross. Coachman is one of many other current and former employees accused in the suit of varying degrees of harassment. In the lawsuit, Lawrence claimed that the coach employed by ESPN Predators Playbook, in which he offered to mentor her after she had reached out, but then tried turning the relationship personal. She alleged that colleagues told her that Coachman sexually harassed other female employees at ESPN, including former SportsCenter anchor Sarah Walsh. She communicated to Coachman that she had a boyfriend and claims to have not heard back from him after that. In his statement, Coachman mentioned former SportsCenter anchor Jameel Hill in the lawsuit. Lawrence had claimed that Hill received a threatening and racially disparaging voicemail from ESPN SportsCenter anchor Chris Berman on her ESPN phone line. Hill denied the claim on Twitter and called the allegation dangerously inaccurate. A few years ago, I had personal conflict with Chris Berman, but the way this conflict has been characterized is dangerously inaccurate. Chris never left any racially disparaging remarks on my voicemail, and our conflict was handled swiftly and with the utmost professionalism. I felt that my concerns were taken seriously by ESPN and addressed in a way that made me feel like a valued employee. Frankly, I'm more disappointed that someone I considered to be a friend at one point would misrepresent and relay a private conversation without my knowledge, in which I simply attempted to be a sounding board for personal gain. WB has announced Hillbilly Jim will be inducted into the WB Hall of Fame this year during WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. Below is a full announcement. Hillbilly Jim to be inducted into the Hall of Fame class of 2018. He was a country boy plucked from the WWE universe to be a superstar. Now is going to be WWE Hall of Famer. As first reported by Bleacher Report, Mudlick, Kai's favorite son, is the latest inductee to the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2018. Hillbilly Jim joins Goldberg, the Dudleys, Ivory, Jeff Jarrett, and Warrior Award recipient Jarius Double J Robertson on the list of those who will be honored on Friday, April 6th in New Orleans during WrestleMania 34 week. So, the Hall of Fame will be on Friday, not Saturday before WrestleMania. Big Country Boy first popped in WWE in late 1984 as a big smiling bearded face towering above WWE fans around the country. However, Jim decided to get a little closer to the action when Hulk Hogan was attacked by Ken Patera, Big John Studd, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Leaping over the barricade, Hillbilly Jim jumped in the ring and helped the Hulkster roll off the villains. Hogan saw something in the rugged man standing beside him and trained Jim for the ring. Opting to compete in his overalls and entering the ring with a lucky horseshoe around his neck, Hillbilly Jim proved to be prodigy inside the square circle, using his incredible power to squeeze opponents into submission with his trademark bear hug. Though an injury sidelined him early in his WWE career, that did not stop him from introducing the WWE Universe to his extended family, Uncle Elmer, Cousin Junior, and Cousin Luke. No, not Butch and Luke, but Cousin Luke. A trio of happy-go-lucky hillbillies that put smiles on the faces of fans around the world with their antics in the ring. When he recovered, Jim jumped back in the ring and picked up where he left off, this time with his family in his corner. Hillbilly Jim also embraced WWE's smaller competitors, competing in a six-person tag team match on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania 3. The match featured one of the more infamous moments in WWE history, with one of Jim's partners, Little Beaver, being splashed by the humongous King Kong Bundy in front of 93,173 people. Hillbilly Jim continued competing in WWE through 1990 with a stepping away from the square circle. He then continued to work with WWE through the 90s, co-hosting Primetime Wrestling and managing his cousins, Henry and Phineas Godwin, to the WWE World Tag Team Championship. Jim then returned to the ring for the Gimmick Battle Royal at WrestleMania 17 and showed a different side of himself on the hit WWE Network reality show Legends House in 2014. Because of his lasting legacy as a beloved favorite of the WWE Universe, there's no better nominee for the induction into the WWE Hall of Fame than Hillbilly Jim. And his Hall of Fame video package can be found on this link. Thanks to Tara's friend on Twitter for texting the following NXT spoilers from tonight's Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. Yes, that's NXT TV. Dark match before NXT taping at Full Sail University saw No Way Jose defeat Marcel Barthel. Staff members passed out Johnny Gargano signs to the crowd before the show began. Tommaso Ciampa came out, but the heat is big and it took him a few minutes to start speaking. Ciampa brags on how Gargano is gone and will never be coming back to NXT. Ciampa takes it all in and is loving the heat. He goes to leave but stops to tear up some of the fan signs that were handed out, causing one younger girl to cry. Gargano suddenly attacks Ciampa from the crowd for a major pop. Security gets involved and escorts Gargano out of the arena as Ciampa sits in the ring looking angry. Roger Strong and WWE UK champion Pete Dunne defeated Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch in a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic first round match. NXT Women's Champion Ember Moon defeated Aliyah in a non-title match. Shayna Baszler was on commentary after the match. Baszler and Moon had to stare down while Baszler stood up at the announce table. NXT Champion Andre Cien Almas attacked Raul Mendoza from behind as he headed to the ring. Zelina Vega is with him. Almas is fired up, and he cut a promo in Spanish and English on Aleister Black. Adam Cole defeated Cassius Ohno. That was for one episode. March 28th episode. General Manager William Regal announced that the new NXT North American title will be revealed at TakeOver New Orleans. During the WrestleMania 34 week, EC3 made his debut and says it's nice of Regal to create the new North American title to give him on his debut. Regal says everyone is glad to have EC3 in NXT, but he won't be handed anything like the rest of the NXT superstars. Regal announced that EC3 and 5 other superstars will compete in a ladder match at TakeOver to determine the first ever North American title. Also, Japan defeated Street Profits in a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match. Roger Strong and UK champion Pete Dunne defeated Sanity in a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match. Lars Sullivan defeated John Silver. Dakota Kai came to the ring for a match, but the cameras cut to NXT champion Andre Cien Almas brawling with Aleister Black outside. They fight inside the ring and Almas stands tall after beating down Black with a steel chair. It was announced that the TakeOver ladder match will to crown the first ever NXT All-American champion are Ricochet, EC3, Velveteen Dream, Lars Sullivan, Adam Cole, and Killian Dane. Velveteen Dream then defeated Trent Seven. April 4th episode that was taped. Killian Dane versus Lars Sullivan ended in with no winner as the ladder match participants came out for a six-man brawl. Kairi Sane defeated Vanessa Bourne. Also Japan versus Roger Strong and UK champion Pete Dunne is set for the finals of the Dusty Road Classic, but NXT Tag Team champions Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole with a now injured Bobby Fish attacked both teams from the no contest. General Manager William Regal came out and announced a triple threat tag team for TakeOver New Orleans, with the winners becoming the new NXT tag champions and the winners of the Dusty Classic. Ricochet defeated Chris Dijak in his debut. I guess that's Donovan Dijak from Ring of Honor. Main event spoilers. Apollo Crews, who is now just going on as Apollo, defeated Kurt Hawkins. Graham Metallic and Calissa defeated Area DeVere and Tony Nese. Live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we got Michael Coleslaw. Welcome to the show. We're joined in by Corey Graves and Jonathan Coachman. We go to Ring Outcomes Raw General Manager Kurt Angle. Angle thanks everyone and wants to get serious. He says Triple H sucker punched him last week. Angle calls Triple H out to the ring and says he doesn't care if he's the COO of the company. He wants Triple H to come out and face him like a man. Fans pop, music hits, out comes Stephanie McMahon and Stan. Stephanie tells Kurt to calm down and says Triple H isn't even here yet. Fans boo. Stephanie says that's the truth. Stephanie talks about Angle's family and says his alimony payment must be high. She talks about how he's an Olympic gold medalist, a WWE Hall of Famer, and so on. She asks if those accolades are paying the bills right now. They don't, but being Raw GM does. Is that correct? Stephanie tells Angle to think about these things. Plus, her husband was provoked last week. She goes on and blames Angle for almost ruining the big signing and blames Angle for Ronda Rousey putting Triple H through a table. Stephanie tells Angle to know his role and just make the matches. Use your head. Music interrupted. Out comes Rousey to a pop. Rousey hit the ring and hugged Angle before Stephanie offered her hand for a shake. Fans chanted for Rousey. Rousey says that what Stephanie did to Angle last week was enlightening. They go back and forth. Stephanie talks about how everything WWE has done for Rousey, including giving her the big debut at WrestleMania 34. Rousey brings up how her contract lets her pick the opponent for WrestleMania. Stephanie says, as long as it is an active member of the Raw roster. Stephanie calls for a drum roll. Rousey picks Stephanie as her opponent. Fans pop for a yes chant. But Stephanie says she's not a member of the actual roster. Just as she says that, music interrupts. Out comes Triple H. Triple H says this is not going to happen. Angle needs to take off his medals, stop being a tough guy, and start doing his job. Triple H says Stephanie is an executive of this company. Angle thought Triple H wasn't here tonight. Angle says Stephanie has a WWE contract for her job as an executive, but she also has a contract to work as a WWE superstar. Angle says he makes the matches. And Ronda will be facing Stephanie at WrestleMania. Fans pop. Angle says he knows someone else with a second contract, Triple H. Angle says he warned Triple H after Survivor Series. Angle makes he and Rousey versus the Authority. Fans pop. Stephanie gets in Angle's face and talks trash. She goes to slap Angle, but Rousey grabs her arm and stops her. Triple H tells everyone to calm down. It doesn't need to go down this way. Triple H tries for a cheap shot on Angle, but is blocked. Angle unloads on Triple H and drops him. Angle applies the ankle lock, but Triple H hits him into the turnbuckle. Stephanie decks Rousey from behind and drops her. Rousey gets right back up, but Stephanie retreats from the ring through the crowd. Rousey stares her down from the ring. Triple H and Rousey stare each other down now. Angle blocks the pedigree from Triple H and drops him for the ankle lock. Triple H reaches, and Stephanie helps him pull the safety from under the bottom rope. Officials are out to help out. Rousey pulls Stephanie into the ring by her hair and stalks her. Rousey drops Stephanie and stands tall as Angle. And as music plays, the Authority recovers at ringside as Angle and Rousey raise their arms on the stage. So the comes segment. John Cena will be here. Also, Asuka versus Nia Jax. We see the referees helping Triple H and Stephanie up in the ring. We'll go to commercial. Asuka versus Nia Jax back for the ring. Out first comes Asuka. And she's still undefeated. Nia Jax was out next. Bell rings and they go at it. Jax overpowers Asuka and works her over. Jax with a big headbutt. Jax tosses Asuka across the ring. She ends up out on the floor. We go backstage to Charlie Caruso with Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, who is confident about tonight being Nia's night, as Asuka's luck will finally run out. Bliss says Jax will not only end Asuka's streak, she might end her career. Jax and Asuka fight back into the ring now. Jax nails a backbreaker. Jax scoops Asuka for a backbreaker, but Asuka counters into a submission. Jax breaks it and sends Asuka back to the corner. Jax approaches and eats a kick. Jax stomps, but Asuka fights back. Asuka goes to the top, but Nia drops it, rocks her. Nia spins Asuka around and drops her from high. We go to commercial. Back for the break. Nia is still continuing to dominate the match. Asuka gets the Shining Wizard for a close two count. More back and forth between the two. Jax ended up catching Asuka in a Samoan drop, but that makes a weak count for two. And Jax presses Asuka high, drops her in the center ring. Jax goes for the big leg drop. Asuka moves out of the way. Jax comes over, but Asuka pulls her into the armbar in the middle of the ring. Jax starts to power up with the hold still locked, but Asuka pulls her back down and tightens it up. Jack powers up, slams Asuka into the turnbuckles, but the hold is still locked in. Jax goes down and the hold is still applied. Jax powers up once again, but Asuka brings her back to the mat. The hold is still locked in. Jax taps for the finish. After the match, we see Alexa Bliss backstage looking worried. Jax is still down on her back in the ring, and Asuka makes her exit. Fans applaud as Jax slowly gets to her feet, clutching her arm. Still to come, a look at John Cena's road to WrestleMania 34. Back to commercial. Revival versus Bar. Back for the break. Revival in the ring. Out next comes Raw Tag Team Champions, the Bar for the non-title match. If the Revival wins, they will face the Bar at WrestleMania 34. Scott Dawson starts off with Sheamus. They go to the mat and trade holds. Sheamus drops Dawson with a big shoulder. Bar shows off some. Sheamus takes Dawson to the corner for a big double team. As Cesaro tags in, Dawson tries to escape for a tag, but Sheamus comes back and stops him. Sheamus takes Dawson to the apron and drops Wilder as he comes over. Dawson turns it around and unloads on Sheamus, dropping him over the top rope. Dawson comes back in and Sheamus scoops him on the shoulders. Dash then tags in as in the Revival double team Sheamus for a 2 count. Cesaro tags in, but the Revival double team for him for a 2 count. As Dawson tags back in. Bar regroups on the floor. Back to commercial. Back for the rate. Bar double teams Dawson for a 2 count. Cesaro tags back in. Dawson goes at it with Sheamus, hitting a jawbreaker as Dash tags in. They double team Sheamus and unload in the corner. Dawson tags back in and stomps away on Sheamus while Dash holds him down. Dawson with another 2 count. Sheamus and Dawson trade shots, but Dawson keeps control, working on the shoulder. Sheamus backdrops Dawson, allowing Cesaro to tag. Cesaro comes in with a shot for both opponents, as Dawson catches him with a DDT for a 2 count. Sheamus tags back in and unloads on Dawson, sending him into the corner with a high knee. Cesaro then tags in, but Dash provides a distraction on the apron, allowing Dawson to turn it around. Sheamus runs into the ring post and gets sent to the floor. Dawson climbs up and hits a superplex to Cesaro. Dash follows up with a big frog splash in the middle of the ring for a 2 count. Dash can't believe Cesaro kicked out. Dawson tags back in for a double team, but Sheamus nails Dash with a road kick, sending him to the floor. Dawson fights off Sheamus, but Cesaro grabs him for the neutralizer. Cesaro covers for the pin and the win. After the match, Bar celebrated as we go to replay. Still to come, John Cena will be here live. Graves leads us to an exclusive preview for The Strangers Pray at Night horror movie. Back to commercial. Back for the break, and we get a WWE ride along promo. What happens after all? We go right to the ring, and out comes John Cena to a mixed reaction and announces plug WWE Fastlane as Cena hits the ring. Cena says he's here on Raw to talk to all of us about SmackDown. Some fans boo. Cena understands that's a difficult subject, and we want to hear what he has to say. But he suggests they listen. Cena says he has found his road to WrestleMania 34, and that's why he's here tonight. Kurt Angle granted Cena the time to speak tonight because even he recognizes the importance of Fastlane. Cena talks about the recognizing the privilege he has as only the free agent of WWE. Cena brings up the six-pack challenge and says there's no way WWE champion AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, or Sami Zayn will let him say what he has to say tonight, as he's interrupted. Cena brings up how he will break a record on Sunday by becoming 17-time world champion. It's a tough subject, but it's a reality. Cena declares that he will win the WWE title for the 17th time at Fastlane. Cena says all records are made to be broken, even the ones that have been held so very close. Cena says he will do this because this is the only road to WrestleMania. Cena then says he's been smothered in criticism lately, saying he's been handed everything and taking he oh, saying he only stands to hold people back. Cena says he was not given success; he was given a chance, and he used that to defeat AJ in the middle of the ring to earn the spot. Cena goes on and says he will never be one to mock anyone, to hold anyone back. Cena says the critics will be everywhere after he wins on Sunday, saying that he robbed AJ of his WrestleMania moment. Cena counter Cena then encouraged AJ to make a bigger moment by using his rematch for a triple threat at WrestleMania. Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ versus Cena. Music interrupts. Out comes Goldust. Goldust quotes an old movie that says he could have been a contender. He could have been someone, but he's a bum. Goldust enters the ring with Cena now. Goldust goes on and about dreaming of sharing the spotlight of WrestleMania and says that dream begins with Goldust stopping Cena from going to WrestleMania. Goldust says his dreams never have a happy ending. They're all taken from him. Drops him in the right hand. Fans cheers to go to commercial. Back for the break. The match is underway as Goldust poses over Cena. Cena fights back, but Goldust drops him for a 2 count. Goldust keeps control and works Cena around the ring. Goldust with another inverted atomic drop. Classic Goldust style. Goldust goes on and keeps Cena down, taunting him and rubbing on him while they're down. Cena gets fired up and looks to come back, but Goldust catches him with a power slam for a 2 count. Goldust goes with more offense as Cena tries to fight back. Goldust ends up delivering a low blow. Fans are dueling chance for Cena now. Cena looks to make a comeback. Hits the shoulders off the ropes and a big slam. Then does 5 knuckle shuffle and the attitude adjustment for the win. After the match, Cena hits the corner, celebrates as the announcers plug the fast lane main event. Cena continues the celebration as he heads to the back. Kurt Angle's backstage on the phone when Elias walks in with a guitar. Elias suggests Angle cancels the Symphony of Destruction match for later. Elias heard that there will be instruments placed around to use as weapons, and he believes music should bring us together, not tear us apart. Angle thinks about it for a second and says he's not canceling the match. Angle says it's up to Elias what happens out there tonight. Angle makes it a false count anywhere match. Still to come, the 3rd annual Mizzy Awards. Also, Paul Heyman will respond to Roman Reigns. We see Bayley walking backstage. We cut to commercial. Back from the break, Coleslaw leads us to the 2018 Hall of Fame video package for Hillbilly of the Year. Next up, we got Bayley versus Mandy Rose. Back from the break, out comes Bayley to the ring, and Charlie Caruso waits. Charlie asks her about the recent snub to Sasha Banks, but before she can get it out, the music interrupts, and out comes Absolution. Paige, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville. Paige congratulates Bayley on finally growing a backbone and says that she's still a stupid little kid. Paige goes on about strength in numbers and says life in WWE would be easier for Bayley if she had backup. Paige sends Mandy and Sonya to the ring as the Absolution music hits. Mandy starts off with Bayley by locking up in the middle of the ring. They trade holds, and Rose does the drop kick in the corner. Mandy with some trash talking. Rose works over the arm now, but Bayley tries to fight back. Rose rams Bayley's back into the corner and slams her for a 2 count. Bayley rams Rose back into the opposite corner, charges in with an elbow. Rose retreats to the floor and regroups with Absolution. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Rose has Bayley grounded in the ring. Rose with more offense and a big right hand for another 2 count. Bayley tries to fight back and goes for a backside, but Rose avoids it. Rose ends up hitting a big running knee for a close 2 count. Mandy keeps control and covers for a 2 count. Bayley counters a slingshot and drops Rose over the second rope. Bayley with clotheslines and more offense now as she unloads. Bayley slams Rose's head into the turnbuckles over and over. Bailey with a side suplex out of the corner. Bailey goes to the second rope, but DeVille gets on the apron for distraction. Bailey still nails the elbow on Rose. DeVille gets back on the apron and rolls her up for a 2 count. Bailey rolls right back up for the pin. After the bell, Rose and DeVille immediately double team Bailey and beat her down. Sasha runs down to make save. Absolution retreats, and Sasha's standing tall in the ring. Sasha then raises Bailey's arm and turns to leave as her music hits. Sasha approaches for a hug, but Bailey wants none of it. Bailey leaves the ring while Sasha looks upset. Still to come segment, Elias versus Strowman in a Symphony of Destruction match. Coleslaw leads us to a Women's History Month video on Eunice Kennedy Shriver. Back to commercial. Back for the break, we see how Asuka defeated Nia earlier. Jackson backstage, icing her arm now. Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss appears with Mickie James. Bliss tells Mickie she's got this. Bliss sits down beside her friend, and says she knows how bad she feels. How disappointed it is in herself she is. Bliss says she's never seen Jax give up like this, and it must be so embarrassing. Bliss goes on taking subtle shots at Jax, saying she might not be on the WrestleMania card, but she will be next year. Bliss talks about how Jax has been bullying her whole life because she was always the outcast. Bliss even sees how people look at her in the airport now. Jax starts crying. Bliss tells Jax not to let this be her downfall because everyone will lose respect for her. We go back to the announce table as Jax cries. Graves believes Bliss has her heart in the right place, even though her words were rough around the edges. Announcers then look at Ronda Rousey's weekend induction into the International Sports Hall of Fame and her opening Raw segment with Kurt Angle and the Authority, which confirmed the big tag team match at WrestleMania 34. We see what happened last week with Elias and Braun Strowman. We get a backstage video from Braun, who says he is not finished with Elias, and Elias will get these hands tonight, as well as these keys, these drums, and anything else he can get his hands on. Braun says tonight begins the extinction of Elias. We see Elias backstage walking with his guitar. Match commercial, Symphony of Destruction match. Back for the break, Elias is on the stage with a piano. We see other musical instruments set up around the arena. JoJo goes over the rules for the match. Falls count anywhere. No disqualification. Elias plays the piano and sings his latest song. He also plays the drums for a bit. He knocks his opponent as he takes his guitar and plays while walking to the ring. Asking fans to shut their mouths, Elias gets heat by dissing Milwaukee and singing about how there's nothing Braun can do to them. Braun calls for a proper introduction as he enters the ring. Lights go off and a word from JoJo. Lights come back on, and Elias is nowhere to be seen. We see Elias running through the crowd and to the back. Elias runs through the backstage area and keeps looking over his shoulder. Elias enters a car in the back and starts it up. He tries to drive away in reverse, but the car isn't moving. The camera shows Braun lifting the back wheels off the ground. Braun yells about not being finished with Elias. Elias gets out and runs back into the arena as Braun chases him. Bell rings and Elias comes stumbling back to the stage. Braun is right behind him. Braun works Elias over and brings him into the ring for more punishment. Braun with a big running splash in the corner and a big clubbing blow to the chest. Braun stands tall as fans pop. Braun scoots Elias for the power slam, but Elias slides out. Goes to work on the knee. Elias grabs his guitar and smashes it over Braun's back. Elias with right hands and left now. Elias takes Braun off his feet after charging. Elias goes to the top and hits a flying elbow drop for a 1 count as Braun sends him flying. Elias goes for the drift away, but Braun overpowers and rocks him with a big right hand. sending him out to the floor. Braun follows and works Elias up the ramp now. Braun clears the announce table and brings Elias over as fans cheer. Braun scoops Elias for a power slam through the announce table, but Elias rakes his eyes and slides out. Braun shoves Elias into the LED wall. Braun beats Elias around the stage for instruments, near the instruments now. Fans cheer as Braun picks up the big bass and smashes it over the back of Elias. Braun puts Elias under the piano and starts banging on the keys. Braun lifts part of the piano and slams it right on top of Elias. Braun moves the piano out of the way and pins Elias on the stage for the win. After the match, Braun yells out and raises his arms as his music hits. Braun with some trash talking, and we see officials checking on Elias. We go to replays. Paramedics have Elias in a neck brace now. They load him up on a stretcher and we get another replay of the finish. So there comes segment. Paul Heyman's here. Also the third annual Mizzy Awards. Match commercial. Bray Wyatt versus Rhino. Back from break, out comes Bray Wyatt to the ring. Rhino is already waiting in the ring. Heath Slater's out with his partner. Bell rings and Rhino attacks, unloading on Wyatt and taking him into the corner. Wyatt turns around with a kick and drops Rhino. Wyatt hangs out of the ring and taunts Slater at ringside. Wyatt comes back to Rhino and pounds on him. Wyatt delivers History Abigail for the easy win. After the match, Slater comes in to check on his partner, but Wyatt crawls on top of Rhino and stares at Slater, forcing him back out of the ring. We go to replays. Wyatt takes the mic and calls Matt Hardy to come out and show his face. Calling him a coward, fans chant delete now. Wyatt says the final deletion and the Great War are far from over. Matt appears on the big screen and says he concurs. The Great War is far from over, but if Wyatt wants to clash again, he cannot be contained inside WWE. It must be at the Hardy compound. We see a video of Hardy and his Vanguard 1 drone on the grounds of the Hardy compound. Hardy calls for the ultimate deletion. Wyatt looks on from the ring and smiles. We see Miz backstage walking, back to commercial, back to the break. Intercontinental Champion Miz is headed to the ring with Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Miz welcomes us to the third annual Mizzy Awards. He knocks the Oscars and goes into tonight's awards. First category, a superstar who is best at patting themselves on the back. Nominees are Seth Rollins for bragging about his lengthy performance in a match he lost. Kurt Angle for finally being a good father to Jason Jordan after 29 years. Finn Balor for holding the WWE Universal title for less than 24 hours. And the winner is, it's tied between Balor and Rollins. Miz said that they will not be able to accept the award because they were not invited. The next Mizzy is for worst decision by a Raw general manager. Nominees are Kurt Angle for bringing his bastard son to Raw. Kurt Angle for letting Seth Rollins and Finn Balor into the Elimination Chamber match. Kurt Angle for failing to name a WrestleMania opponent. For The Miz, the winner is Kurt Angle. Miz says Kurt cannot accept the award because he's too busy sucking up. And Miz says having a Mizzy on your record will help when he's out of a job the day after WrestleMania. Miz says now is the time where he likes to take a break for a lifetime achievement Mizzy. Miz says this award goes to the man who is a workhorse for WWE, the man who is 55 days away from breaking Pedro Morales' record. The music interrupts. Out comes Seth Rollins. Rollins says that the good people of Milwaukee were begging for someone to interrupt Miz because he's bragging. Music interrupts again. Out comes Finn Balor to stand with Rollins on the stage. Rollins asks Balor if he's done and says that's 2 weeks in a row now. Balor says he's not here to follow Rollins. He's here to do one better. Miz interrupts and says neither of them deserve to be his WrestleMania challenger. Miz runs them both down for being losers. Miz proposes a 3-on-2 handicap match for tonight as the fans pop. Rollins and Balor accept the challenge and head to the ring. Rollins and Balor enter the ring as their opponents scramble. Batch commercial. 3-on-2 handicap match. Miz, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel versus Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. Back from the break. Axel locks up with Balor to start off the match. Axel works Balor over, but Balor turns around and tags Rollins in. Rollins comes in off the second rope for the quick double team. Dallas comes in, but Rollins ends up taking him and Axel down. Then scaring Miz off the apron, Dallas takes a drop kick, but domes right back and beats Rollins down in the corner. Miz tags in with an offense and pin attempt, but Rollins kicks out at 2. Axel is legal, and he keeps Rollins down in the middle of the ring. Axel with a 2 count, as he keeps Rollins grounded with a knee to the back. Axel drop kicks Rollins and stands tall to talk some trash. Dallas comes back in with more offense to Rollins. Dallas drops Rollins on his head and keeps him grounded with a headlock. Fans try to rally for Rollins. Rollins fights up and out. Dallas runs into a boot and misses the clothesline. Balor tags in and comes off the ropes. Balor unloads on Dallas. Miz and Axel get sent off the apron. Balor with a chop to Dallas in the corner. As Balor brings Dallas from the top to the mat with an enziguri. Miz distracts Balor, and Balor follows him to the floor. Axel is waiting to floor Balor. Dallas follows up and drops him on the floor again. Miz talks trash to Balor as we return to commercial. Back from the break, and Balor drops Axel with an overhead kick. Rollins and Miz tag in at the same time. Rollins springboards in and goes right to work on the champion. Rollins drops Miz with a big knee to the head. Rollins with a splash in the corner. Rollins hits the suplex and holds on for the Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. Balor is down on the floor as Rollins cranks up the kick. Rollins kicks Miz and knocks Dallas off the apron. Miz comes from behind, but Rollins kicks out of the roll-up. Rollins ends up dropping Miz with a kick to the jaw, but Axel breaks it up at 2. Rollins then sends Axel to the floor with Dallas. Rollins ducks a Miz clothesline and nails a suicide dive to take the Miztourage out on the floor. Miz gets hit to the floor. Next is Rollins runs the ropes for a dive, but Balor tags himself in. They argue. Balor ends up launching himself to take down Axel and Dallas. Balor with a sling blade to Miz. Balor with a big drop kick. Balor goes up top for the coup de grace, but Rollins tags himself in. Rollins hits the back blackout stomp on Miz for the pin and wins the match. After the match, Kurt Angle comes out to announce a triple threat for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 34, Balor versus Rollins versus Miz. Announcers plug the WWE Network and Fastlane. Still to come segment. Paul Heyman is here. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Graves is talking when the USA Network abruptly ends Raw and begins their next program. Fee cuts back to Raw after a minute or two. Paul Heyman is coming out with the WWE Universal title in hand. Heyman lays the title in the ring and has a message for his client Brock Lesnar. And this actually can be seen in this link here. Heyman starts talking about Roman Reigns and the WrestleMania 34 main event. Heyman gives props for defeating The Undertaker last year at WrestleMania, saying it was the biggest win of Reigns' career. Heyman says Reigns won't be beating Lesnar at this WrestleMania and won't be taking the title. Heyman says if Reigns doesn't like what he's saying, he can do something about it on next week's Raw because the Beast will be here. Heyman mentions Reigns' family members, Alpha and Sika, saying Reigns can seek out a new title to challenge for the WrestleMania because this one belongs to Lesnar. Heyman recalls how Reigns came out last week and called Lesnar a B word. Heyman raises the title and says this is Lesnar's B word. She belongs to him. Heyman says Reigns is eyeballing Lesnar and can't have her. Heyman goes on about Reigns wanting to become champion because of his bloodline. Says Reigns won't have to pry the title from Lesnar's cold dead heads. He will have to take it from Lesnar's hot competitive figures. Heyman goes on about how the title means you are the best, the biggest dog in the yard. Heyman says it's not how bad you want, how bad the title wants you. This is a part 2 conclusion for Raw. And what happened after Raw as well. Heyman goes on about the sacrifices you make being champion and says his client will be here next week. So Reigns can say whatever he wants to say to his face. Heyman says Reigns has learned by now that he doesn't want to shoot on the mic with Heyman or shoot in the ring with Lesnar. Music interrupts. Out comes Reigns. Reigns slowly marches to the ring and Heyman looks on. Reigns has some words with Heyman. Heyman picks the title up and hands Reigns a mic. Reigns says he had some harsh but true things last week. Reigns thought Brock would be here this week, but he sent Heyman for his rebuttal. Reigns says Lesnar is really a B word. Reigns is just asking that Lesnar show up. The fans just want their champion to show up to work, he says. Reigns says they all just want Lesnar to want to be here. Reigns says he will be here next week as well as, and Brock can say anything he wants to his face, but Lesnar better come dressed to fight, not dressed for some promo segment. Reigns' music hits, and as Heyman leaves the ring, Raw goes off the air with Reigns staring Heyman down. Dark main event after Raw in Milwaukee saw Reigns defeat Kane. As noted, Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon is now official for WrestleMania 34. Rousey tweeted the following after two teams tangled on this week's Raw in Milwaukee. At Ronda Rousey, respect your Olympians or we'll make you respect us. See you at #WrestleMania. And that concludes my what happened after Raw results. Thanks again. Peace out. See you when I'm here. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.